So you know how to trigger a liberal? Just tell them that you think that walls are a good idea too. Or tell them that you're opposed to gun control. Or tell them that black people can be racist too. It'll blow their minds. So come on, liberals, fuck! There has common sense. Let's just throw common sense into everything, okay? Common sense when it comes to your life, and common sense when it comes to the law. So let's talk about Donald Trump getting his wall, right? $2.5 billion is going to be allocated so Donald could get his wall. Chuck Schumer is banking on some other Supreme Court decision which says that Trump isn't allowed, he's not authorized to build the wall, but he's a war president. So I see both sides to their legal arguments. Okay, a war president can do whatever the fuck they want to do. So all he has to do is make the case that some of those people in, the caravans or, the rapists, there's criminals that are coming over the border. And that is a war-like, condition. Well, he's a war president. How do you tie that into the war on terror? Are they fighting any terrorists? I don't think they found any terrorists. But a terrorist is one who terrorizes people. MS-13 terrorizes the people. So there's two things that's going on the border. We have a border crisis. We have a humanitarian crisis. So there's people that are starving and they want, to get to America to have a better life. And then we have an immigration crisis. So we have both. We got both an immigration and a humanitarian crisis. And so a wall, when it comes to common sense, that's just one measure of security, so that's an extra thing. It's not going to prevent everything, but it's, something. And so, if you want security, then as many security measures as you can implement would be best for your security. If you think in terms of your own house, okay, you got a house, let's say you have a yard, and you're not going to just have open borders, you're not just going to have everybody walking up into your house. Living in your house, right? Living on your yard. Hey, no, we believe in open borders. And so, my idealist, boy in me wants to believe in open borders, and I kind of do, and it's a little nuanced. But let's talk about what had happened, okay? So, $2.5 billion has been authorized. There was a lower court that had issued an injunction to stop the wall from being built from military funds. Donald Trump wanted $8 billion for the wall, right? So he's got his $2.5 billion. You just take the $4 billion from Israel, and then you got your $6.5. They got a wall over there, so we help Israel build their wall. Meanwhile, we're, just sitting over here without a wall. So just take Israel's money, and then that'll also, force them to act, like human beings and quit massacring the shit out of the Palestinians. Thousands of Palestinians, including hundreds of babies. Just, 4 major Gaza massacres in the last 11 years. So, he wanted $8 billion, so he's not going to get the full wall. He's getting $2.5 billion. $2.5 billion, that's more than 25%. So, he can claim a victory. He can claim a major victory. He's got 25% of his goal. Obama promised to get us out of Guantanamo Bay, or to shut down Guantanamo prison. And it's still there. So we still have Guantanamo prison, and people probably still, a bunch of innocent people being tortured. Who knows what the hell's going on down there, right? It's off our shore, so therefore it's not, under American law per se, but it is a reflection of us and our values and who are we as people. So because Barack Obama, he came out with Guantanamo Bay and universal health care, and the Republicans just obstructed the shit out of him. It's good politics to take away the thunder, right? What was the lightning and the thunder? If Andrew Yang becomes president, but you're able to block his universal basic income idea, well, fuck, you just, tanked his entire presidency. That was what the entire thing was based on. And so, when it comes to Bernie Sanders, it's Medicare for all. That's his one big idea. And there's, that was actually pretty instructive, the video that had all the one big ideas of all the candidates. So, okay, Donald Trump got 25% of his one big idea. right? Build the wall. Is he going to make Mexico pay for it, right? The drug rapist criminals, a bunch of bad people. Some might be good, but, you know, most are bad. So he's got this 25% of the wall, the spending, the funding. And so if the court case, Chuck Schumer is putting his faith in another court case that's going to essentially say, no, Trump, you cannot. Congress, so I guess the crux, the parameters of this debate, Congress is sitting there saying they haven't appropriated money for the wall. If you don't appropriate money for the wall, then it can't be built because Congress controls the purse strings. So since they control the purse strings, they're the ones that spends all the money. They're the ones that, you know, does the budget. They have, and, you know, the president signs off on it, so usually it's just always like this jostling for power. There's always the, you know, power struggle between the three branches of government. So he's getting his wall, $2.5 billion. I think it's, you know, there's the sense of me that's opposed to the wall is that, you know, it's Donald Trump. So since they obstructed, you know, Obama from getting us health care, universal health care, life, right? So since they went ahead and obstructed that, then, you know, fuck Trump, right? The difference between Obama and Trump is Obama actually reached out to the Republicans over and over and over again. And Trump doesn't reach out to the Democrats whatsoever. He doesn't care about half the country. He doesn't care about any of the Democrats and what they want. So he's just antagonistic and he's just an asshole. And he's only going to do, you know, what he wants and what his base wants. And he's not going to, you know, listen to the Democrats, and they represent a lot of people in America. So, you know, I just wanted him to legalize marijuana, declare war on poverty, end the war. That Korean War, it's kind of ended, but it's, you know, it's kind of different, too, because 60 years we haven't really been at war with Korea. But we didn't actually have a final truce, and I don't know if we had a final truce now, you know, now or not. But he did cross over the, you know, the demilitarized line, so that was fantastic. That was wonderful. That was absolutely great. But that's, you know, there's 27 wars. He tried to get out of Syria, couldn't get into Syria, so now we just have 20, you know. So he almost ended one war, but 27 wars carries on. So when it comes to the wall, whether or not it's a good idea or not, it's Trump's idea. So fuck Trump, so fuck the wall. Fuck Trump, fuck the wall. And my generation is going to be the generation that tears his wall down. And I hope that we get to that point. So you have an immigration security crisis. You got crime that's coming over, but you also got a humanitarian crisis. You got a lot of poor people throughout the Americas. When I like, you know, I don't like the Monroe Doctrine. I like the Monroe Doctrine. The Monroe Doctrine actually helped to stop colonialism because it said, if you are over here in this continent, then we'll take it as a threat. So we saved all, you know, all these two Americas away from European colonialization. And so it would be awesome. The great thing about the 50-nifty United States is you could travel to each one of the states. There's no border patrol, no security, no stops. Hey, you know, in this. So essentially the freedom to travel, that's one of the greatest things about this country. And it would be incredible to have Mexico as a state, to have Bolivia and Argentina. It would be awesome to drive to Brazil. Wouldn't that be cool? To drive to Argentina, Guatemala. So if any of these countries ever voted in a referendum to become an American state, say like Puerto Rico, which is our territory, so either we're an empire who oppresses or we're, you know, we embrace the world as equals. Puerto Rico and Washington, D.C. should definitely be a state. Puerto Rico voted to become a state. 81% of Puerto Ricans wanted to become an American state. So why would we not accept that? What an awesome, you know, what a gift. What an awesome tribute to who we are as people. You got a nation out there who says that they don't need to be militarily conquered, even though they have been, but they want to join upon, you know, join the United States of America as one of the states. So to join into this union of states, this great experiment of democracy that Abraham Lincoln kept together even in times of turmoil and strife. So the wall, so when it comes to my open borders, I wish Mexico was an American state. I wish all these states had a referendum like Puerto Rico and voted to become an American state, and then we adopted them. because that's, I mean, what a tribute, what an awesome tribute. So if Guatemala, right, and Venezuela, oh no, there's all this bad stuff that's coming from them, they vote to become American states, then the federal government would have jurisdiction over those, so therefore you took them over without firing a shot. You did it peacefully. So if you want to, you know, militarily dominate, but more importantly, because they chose of their own free will, they consented to become, so they saw the conditions of their own country and what they were able to do with, you know, themselves if they were just independent. And then they said, you know, thought about, well, what if we were part of the United States of America? What could we accomplish then? And if they voted to, you know, vote for statehood for the United States, I think we should very seriously consider that. So it's not so much open borders because every state has their own constitution and their own police force. So I guess there is, go to Kansas, right? They got border patrol in Kansas. But, you know, essentially Mexico would be an American state. We're all Americans, right, North and South America, so we're all technically American states. Bolivia, Argentina, the Falkland Islands. We let Britain take the Falkland Islands. I thought we were supposed to kick out the, you know, the European colonialist bastards. But I guess if you're in the shadow of America, fucking Britain, man. Britain is genius. I cannot, they are just like a parasite, a leech, just, you know, just hangs on for dear life. They just, all right, America, you want to go to war in Iraq? Well, we're actually close to, we might actually see this shit come, all right, fine, let's do Iraq, America, let's do, oh, you going to vote for Trump? Well, let's Brexit, fuck it, let's break out of the European Union, you know? Yeah, I know the European Union is the only economic force in America, or in the world that can, you know, really compete against America. Well, Russia, China, Brazil. But for Europe, right, that was one of the greatest things for Europe. They became the United States of America under the European Union. So they're way more diversified when it comes to their states. They got different languages, cultures, religions, you know, ways of walking and talking and wearing their hats. They're just all different. Every single one of them damn countries in Europe is different. But they're able to unite, you know, to increase their economic power. So, what am I talking about? What I'm talking about is we should unite with the other states of Americas, all the states of both South and North and Central Americas, and we should try to, you know, win them over so they'll vote for statehood, and then we get to, you know, fucking drive to Panama. Go see the Panama Canal with our own eyes. It would be fun to drive it to South America. Hey, what y'all, you know, that's a nice college road trip. Let's drive to South America. Go on Che Guevara's journey. I mean, it'd be incredible. That'd be awesome. That would be amazing. Jamaica be American state. You know, it'd be, okay, I want 100 states. I don't just see 50. I see 100 states. You know, let's have 100 stars on that flag. So, yeah, that's, in some respects, that's sort of open borders, but that's just sort of, you know, open. Come on, come all. So, you know, fuck the wall because fuck Trump. They fucked Obama when it come to Obamacare. They fucked Obama when it come to Guantanamo Bay, shutting that prison. Oh, that's your main thing you want? Well, we're not doing it. And it does look weak because the main thing you wanted done, you didn't get done. So you might, you know, pass some other shit. But ultimately, people remember that. Well, you said you were going to get us a wall. You said you were going to shut us, you know, shut Guantanamo down. So Donald Trump got 25% of his main thing. I guess we did get Obamacare passed. And but Guantanamo Bay wasn't shut down, so that's 0%, right, on that front. So, you know, just like Ronald Reagan said, Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall because of the immigration crisis. Okay, so that's, you know, that's my liberal sense. Open borders? No, nobody's for open borders. I'm for border security. I've even heard Marianne Williamson, Miss I'm Spiritual, and hey, Mr. Trump, I will meet you on that battlefield of love. And, sir, love will win. That was actually really fantastic. She says we need a spiritual awakening. We do. She didn't have any plans, so who knows how we're going to get there, but she is all about motivating, you know, the American people. And that's Boris Johnson. Boris Johnson is all about. That's all his policies probably suck, but he's so fun and energetic. He wants to energize England. Fantastic. What a fun leader. That's great. That's exactly, you know, the kind of person that should be leading. So the wall to me is it's a decent common sense idea. I think when it comes to America, we should put barbed wire, not just around our borders, but also around each state. just to say, where is Canada and where is America? Past this, barbed wire, now you're an illegal immigrant. So now, you could be arrested. And so I think by having a clear line of demarcation between properties, between states, between countries, that does both nations and neighbors a service. A nice wall between the neighbors. I mean, what was Tim, right, the toolman, Taylor? Wilson was his best friend. They had a nice wall, right, because they didn't have to look each other in the face, and it just made it better. So they had a wall. So what a boundary, what it does is it says, that's your side, that's my side. So this is my stuff, my property, you don't trespass, I don't trespass. So that's, there's a very clear sense of which spot is yours and which spot is theirs. And so I'm not opposed to any kind of wall or barrier. When I'm thinking about my own land, I'm thinking, God, you probably moat. You could probably put a moat. You probably could put some barriers, right? Put some round bales. You could have a couple dogs. You could have, just border patrol, just 3 guys that just walk around your property all day. There's a lot of things you could do to increase the security of your own house and land. And so when you think about your own house and land, that would extend to the country too. So as much, and then on the same token, so I want a wall. I don't want people coming up in my land and property and just, taking all my stuff and just, eating all my damn food and drinking all the milk and not replacing it and taking the last ice cube out of the tray. I don't want all that to happen. And so on the humanitarian side of it, if somebody was walking on my property and they were in distress and they were running away from something, well, then that's a lot different. If it's a kid, if there's a child, just by themselves, kid just wanders up, well, I'm not going to get, all crazy like as if it was a criminal or somebody, MS-13, somebody that looks like they were going to do me harm. So, I think that there's 2 parts to this. You need a brain. You need to be smart about it, right? There's an immigration problem. There's criminals that are coming over the border, and they're illegal. They're not going through the legal process, so it's making all the legal people who does all the shit that they have to do. Why do they got to do all that when all they had to do is really hop the border and then, live here for 10 years and then get amnesty? And so it's a bad example for the legal immigrants. And we're a nation of laws too, so they're literally a people without law, right? So they're scared, and if they're legitimate, asylum seekers or refugees, and I think, but because they're scared, because they're in that situation where they're a lawless citizen, then they have to remain vigilant. Anything and everything, if they have to, they can't mess up no matter what. They can't go apply for a job, and when the person's sitting there asking them, hey, so, where were you born? And you're like, oh, Mexico. You have to play it, because of we don't have a comprehensive immigration reform. When they come over, they could chance in 10 years, they could get amnesty, but because they're living in this lawless sort of bubble, then that's kind of like the war on drugs. It's the illegality of it that makes it dangerous. So they're in a dangerous situation because they are illegal. They are not allowed to be here according to our laws. They're human beings that are worthy of love and dignity. Yeah, absolutely. Come to our country legally. And if you come in illegally, then we have to ship you back, or we have to listen to your asylum case, and then if if it makes sense, then say, okay, but it's capitalist, dog eat dog, good luck. And just that, so I feel like just, use common sense. Use common sense. So when it comes to the arguments, you have Congress saying that they can appropriate funds. When it comes to the border wall, it's clear that the border wall is for immigration and it's not for war. And so Donald Trump's a war president and he gets unlimited war powers. And so with the war powers, he's got to make the case that it's Al-Qaeda or terrorism. So you could say criminals are terrorists. So there's a kind of tenuous association there. And just say security a wall for in general, right? So a terrorist could get through Mexico. And so that's he has to make the argument that the wall is a course for the military. It's a military measure. And I think I see an argument there, because if there's criminals and they're hurting people, and it is kind of an invasion. I mean, it's not like a Nazi invasion. It's not like Mexico, the nation, the state. It's not like the whole country's invading. And then I see the Democrat side too, because it's not really a war measure at all. It's Congress is supposed to appropriate all the funds, and so he's just taking this $2.5 billion out of the military budget, which is $700 billion. I mean, you wanted that money, why tax the American people? You've already taxed the American people. Take it out of the budget that you got right now, $700 billion or $800 billion or not. It's like nearly $1 trillion that we spend on the military every year. More than every country, the top 10 countries in the world who, the top most expensive militaries, put them together, and we're spending more than all of them. So because he's the commander-in-chief, he dictates all of it. The commanders, generals, the mission, the overall objectives, the Navy, the Army, the FBI, the CIA, the Marines, Navy, the SEALs. He's telling all of them what to do. He's the commander-in-chief. So he hires, fires, and then, gives people, delegates authority. So could a wall be an effective measure in war? Yeah, it could. I mean, it could, right? It stops the person from just easily just walk. If a soldier wanted to invade your town, they could just walk into town, or they'd have to cross a damn wall. So the wall, you could break the wall down. You can poke a hole through the wall. You can walk around the wall. You can get over the wall. You can go under the wall. A wall is a barrier. It's not, foolproof, but it's, one security measure. So, in general, he could try to make some argument like that. Just, we're at war right now, so any terrorist could just get in, so we just got to put the wall all over the place. He would have to put some, walls up by the Canadian border. He's getting $2.5 billion, too, so I feel like he's going to just focus on the cities. So, mostly the cities are going to get that wall. So I think we need both liberty and security. It sounds, contradictory, but it makes sense when you think without security, you can't do what you want. Without security, you're just afraid all the time, looking for that person or that person to do something to you. With security, you get more freedom. So I'm in favor of freedom and security. Kamala Harris, she said an interesting thing. She said that he gets a vanity medieval. She called the wall a vanity medieval project, a medieval vanity, and I think it's actually genius to call it a medieval project. I think it's good politics to run against the wall, especially if you're not in Arizona, New Mexico, or Nevada. What's the three countries? There's three countries. The three states. There's three states he's going to start building the wall on. So, I don't know. New Mexico and Arizona, definitely. Maybe, no, I don't think it's Texas. I don't know. Anyways, so, Kamala Harris said that it was a medieval vanity project, and then when I think about the wall in Palestine and Israel, it looks like, what the fuck? Israel-Palestine has an old medieval wall, and they have a bunch of medieval buildings, and they look like a blast from the past. It looks like someone took a snapshot of the 1500s. And that's, Jerusalem. So the wall thing, connecting it to the medieval thing, makes me, what's a modern version of a wall? What's a modern version of a barrier? I'm wondering, maybe you could put, like, glass revolving doors with blue lights. And what that, the revolving doors, so that just means that we can come and go as we choose. There's a freedom, the sense of that you can walk in and apply for asylum. And there's, a process for how that goes. Because that's ultimately, you don't want to cut out everybody from coming into America. My ancestors come into this country without any papers, so if, technically, if you want to go back in time, if you have a right to return, then you have a right to, be expelled too. I don't know. So yeah, that's my take on Donald Trump's whole wall thing. So Donald Trump finally got his wall, which doesn't make me happy politically. Now they're, oh my God, he got his wall. I'm so happy. We got the wall. Yeah, people in Maine are fucking scared of immigrants. Fuck you, Maine. You ain't scared of fucking Mexican immigrants. There's probably 2 Mexican immigrants if they're legal, and they're probably, very intelligent and probably serve the best ice cream in town or something. So, a wall does look archaic, anachronistic, medieval. So, Kamala Harris had a pretty good burn on that his medieval fucking project. And another thing is the wall. Is that going to solve all of our problems? We got fucking poverty. We got police going out of control. We got endless war. Let's build a wall. So while I think it's, common sense policy, it's definitely not the only thing that you could do to make this country better. It's, border security is common sense, and barbed wire, I think barbed wire just to designate all the boundaries. But a wall, yeah, I'm not opposed to a wall. Actually, when it comes to Colorado, I want a wall around Colorado, so none of these. I mean, I got a good thing going here, in Colorado. I don't want the other people from the other states of America taking this away. No, this is my country. 'Tis of thee, sweet land of liberty. I got a fucking wall. Yeah. And the Interstate Commerce Clause, I wonder, are you allowed to build a wall if you're a state? I don't know. It's not going to be a priority of mine. If I was governor of Colorado, I probably wouldn't just focus on building a wall around this state to keep all you damn bastards out. Alright, that's enough. Peace.